Today we are finishing Chapter 5, so this is the last set of notes for Chapter 5 at Section 5.5. It's all about word problems, so our goal for today is to write and solve inequalities from word problems. So, a lot of the information that we're going to talk about today is actually from your 5.1 notes. So let's just do a quick review. What is this symbol? Greater than. So if you see the words is greater than, you're going to use this guy. What is this one?
Greater than or equal to.
Okay, so if you see the phrase is greater than or equal to, you use that. Here? Less than? Less than or equal to. So I am not going to make you rewrite those. I didn't even make a slide with that information because I already made a slide in 5.1 and you already wrote it in 5.1. So, if you're getting stuck, how do I write is greater than using symbols? Flip back to 5.1, it's already there. Okay, so we're jumping right into examples today because you already know the background information that you need to solve these problems. Alright, number 1 says, a number x is less than 3. So we are just writing an inequality here, no solving. There's just one line of work here, one step. Just change what you see into math symbols. So, a number x. Remember, when we don't know a number in math class, we use a variable. So a number x just means x. Is less than. Less than. Very good. And finally, here's the really hard part. 3. I'm just kidding, that's the easy part. Okay? Here is your answer. So piece by piece. A number x, that's just the x, is less than, that's the less than symbol. 3 is a 3. What questions do you have? Alright, here is number 2. I'm going to give you a second to write this one down. I want you to have 2 full examples. So I won't make you write anything after this one until we get to the more challenging problems. A number W. W. Is greater than or equal to. So is greater than or equal to 5. Yeah, once you have those symbols sorted out, this goes pretty quickly. You just have to know, well, which symbol is greater than, which symbol is less than, what do I do when it says or equal to, things like that. Again, 5.1 is going to be where you go if you have no idea what I'm talking about. Bless you. Any questions? So now you don't need to write out the problem, but I do want you to keep writing the answers, okay, just to practice in your notes. But you don't have to write out a number, x is greater than -4. Just write what I write. How should I start this? What should I write first? X. Right, so the pointy part to the right, so the greater than symbol. And then a -4. Very good. Don't make this trickier than it is. You have to write the answer part. What I wrote, the part in pink should be in your notes. The typed out part in black does not need to be in your notes. But I might say on your notebook quiz, what was the answer to example 3? So you want to make sure you have the answer. All right. Number 4. Again, make sure you write the answer. Make sure you label it example 4. But you don't need to write out the actual text that's on the board at the moment. So read it to yourself. Tell me when to start writing and what to write. P, the less than symbol, and the equal to line underneath. Very good. The number 9. Very good. Now, I would like to call these the 4 easy problems. Would you agree? These are fairly easy, right? Yes, there's going to be ones that are a little bit harder. So here are the easy ones. Make sure you get all these points. These are the easy points. All right. Don't write this one down. There's a shorter one. I'm going to have you write the next one down. So just, again, write what I'm doing, write the work, write the steps, but you don't have to write the actual problem, okay? 9. So you are at the store buying apples for your grandma. Each pound costs $2. Your grandma told you to spend less than $12 on apples. How many pounds can you buy? So I always underline or box in the inequality words here. So less than. So how are you going to find out how much you spent on apples? They're $2 a pound. Multiplication, right? So 2 times however many pounds of apples, right? I'm going to call that 2A. A is the number of apples. You should write 2A. And everything I write afterwards. You're writing all the work and all the steps. You just don't have to write out the problem. All right, and then I know I'm going to have $12 on the other side, right? Because that's how much Grandma told me to spend. What symbol should go in between those? The less than symbol. That is the inequality that you have to solve. How do I solve it? Divide by 2. Divide by 2. So A is less than 6. Now, you cannot stop there. Because if your grandma calls and is like, well, how many apples did you get? You wouldn't say, A is less than 6, Grandma. What would you say? Use the words in the box. Use the same words from the problem. You'd buy less than 6 pounds of apples. So take the words from the problem. Don't try to get fancy. Don't try to reword it. If it said less than, use less than in your answer. Less than 6 pounds of apples. So give me an example of how many pounds of apples you might buy. Four apples, 3 pounds of apples, 2 pounds of apples, 1 pound of apple, 5 pounds of apples, right? So any number less than 6. So less than 6 pounds of apples. I think Grandma would be mad if you bought 0 apples, but sure, that would be fine too. Any questions on number 5? All right. Number 6 is a little shorter, so this is the one I want you to write. I want you to have one complete example, including the question in your notes. So I'll give you a second to write number 6. Then we'll write an inequality, we'll solve it, and then we'll translate it back into words for our answer. So this says you make $5 an hour babysitting. You want to make at least $50 this weekend. How many hours should you babysit? How should I start this? 5x will work, sure. Yeah, that's going to be greater than or equal to 55. Very good. And she knows that just from her knowledge of what the phrase at least means. If I say I have at least $50 in my pocket, you know I could have $50 or any value higher than that, right? At least means that amount or more than that amount. So you want your babysitting money to be $55 or more. So that's greater than or equal to. Now we got to solve that. Divide by 5, divide by 5, so we get 11. X is greater than or equal to 11. Now, switch it back to words. What word should I start with? At least. At least. What? 11 hours. Very good. So maybe you work 12 hours, maybe you work 20 hours. It doesn't matter. You still made at least $55. So your answer is at least 11 hours. What are your questions? I think the hardest part is the first line right here. How do you write your inequality? Questions? All right, here is number 7. You don't have to write out the whole question, just write out the inequality that I write and the steps that it takes to solve it and the answer, okay? So again, you don't have to spend all this time writing, you are ordering pizza for dinner. Just read it with me and then start writing. You are ordering pizza for dinner. Pizza Plaza is selling large pizzas for $8. You need to save $3 to tip the delivery driver. You want to spend at most $35. So that's key. At most $35 on dinner. How many pizzas can you order? Any ideas? 8. I'm going to say 8P for pizzas. Okay, so you're going to pay for 8 pizzas, right? What else are you going to pay for? Yeah, you have to add $3 to whatever you spend on pizzas to pay the delivery driver. So your total for pizza is going to be 8 times the number of pizzas you get. Then you got to save these $3. So you're going to spend $3 to tip the delivery driver. And I know I'm going to have a 35 on the other side. Do I want my total to be bigger than 35, equal to 35, less than 35? What do I want? If I want to spend at most. Yeah, at most means 35 is okay, but no bigger than 35. So 35 or less than or equal to 35. That's the hardest part of this whole thing, is just writing that first line. Once you get there, it's just like yesterday. So I want to subtract 3 from both sides. So 8P is less than or equal to 32. Divide by 8, divide by 8. So I am coming up with P is less than or equal to 4. But you don't call the pizza guy and you're like, P is less than or equal to 4. Or like, Mom, I'm going to order P is less than or equal to 4 pizzas. So change it back to words. At most 4 pizzas. What are your questions? Does that make you want pizza? Pizza does sound pretty good. Questions? One more example. Are you ready for it? All right. Then you'll have a homework assignment. There's 10 questions on the homework assignment, and then I'm hoping that you won't have any homework over however long it takes us to return to school. So try to get the homework done in class. All right? Anyway, we got to do this one first. You are ordering T-shirts for the upcoming basketball game. Shirts cost $5 a piece, plus a $15 printing fee for the order. Your AP tells you to order less than less than $390 worth of t-shirts. How many shirts can you order?
Okay, less than.
So yeah, we're going to use the less than symbol. That's a good one. So we'll have less than 390. What goes on the left side? How are you spending the money? What's happening?
5x plus 50.
Yeah, 5X or 5S. And then you also have to pay the $15 printing fee. So 5X plus 15 is less than 390. Solve. So 5X is less than 375? Alright, you'll have to do the division for me. I don't have a calculator handy. Anybody? I don't know, you guys are going to struggle with your homework tonight if nobody has a calculator.
My calculator.
75. Okay, so let's change it back to words. Use your words. Yeah. So less than 75 shirts. So again, don't try to get fancy. If it says less than, don't change it to at least or at most or any other way that we could say inequality words, because you're just going to confuse yourself. Keep the wording the same. What are your questions on these? All right, here comes your homework.